So, good morning and welcome to Teesside Autodrome here for round 2 of the Tripz British Supermoto Championship. You join us as we prepare for our Superpole session. I'm Phil G, and alongside me is our ladies national champion, Danielle Kernick. Morning, Danielle.
Morning, Phil. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. So we've just witnessed then our qualifying session for the elite race that's going to take place later on today. The main event for us here at the British Supermoto Championship. Top 5 riders then about to go out in Superpole. We'll be seeing British Superbike rider Storm Stacey on the Automotive Solutions Husqvarna. He qualified fastest from the 29 of Oliver Pope on the number 29 KTM from Trevor Pope Racing. Chris Hodgson, number 74, in third, and on the Automotive Solutions Husqvarna. Jay Smith, number 33, he qualified in 4th position on the Humber Garage Racing Honda, and our under-21 champion Alex Mullaney sneaks in to 5th place. And as our first rider then comes out on circuit, looks like they're going to get half a rolling lap. So this is Mullaney out on circuit then. Conditions this morning then, we had a real heavy deluge overnight, and obviously all the work that we put into getting the track ready, the Bathmate guys that came and supported the track build, not really been able to use it because of the weather, but we have got an off-road section which Mullaney's about to ride into, which is the reverse of what we ran yesterday. That was pretty tricky, yeah?
Yeah, with the rain this morning, I think everyone sort of knew we weren't going to be running that full dirt section, which was unfortunate. But we're sort of running a backwards route of yesterday. It looked like it was drying up on the entrance to the dirt there, which might be a little bit easier for riders, but just watching Alex go around now, it's still definitely very wet on the dirt. This
is the worst part. There's actually a little bit of plastic underneath the shale there. So this is where they're going to be struggling to get the power down, but he's going to come round this final turn and he's going to run down the main straight away. So green flag then for Alex Mullaney. He will fire it into this left-right kink and then into what is the first turn proper. Lots and lots of broken tarmac down here, Danielle. The track has definitely started to wear out. Been here a long while. Mullaney running nice and wide for the grip. You can see that it looks like it's drying, but that's actually dirt there on the circuit. So Mullaney will be our first guy out, and he will set what is going to be the target time for everything else. Backs it in to that left-hander. Very slippy in this middle section of the circuit, as it was yesterday.
Yeah, I think the dirt's been dragged around the circuit a lot more today than it was yesterday. So I think the riders will be trying to see if they can find different, big rear end wobble there from Alex.
Yeah, they're on full acceleration all the way down that back straight. They will come into this corner now, up into the corkscrew. This climbs up and then now drops away. This next right-hander, incredibly slippy. There's a change in tarmac there, but Mullaney comes through there okay. And into the off-road section then. This is, again, stones here. Quite grassy up through this little bit of a groove. And we'll try and stay to the outside. Fire it into the bank there. There's plenty of grip to be had. And then into this rutty section, this will dry out. And obviously, hopefully, if we've got a choice of lines through here, we'll maybe see a little bit of overtaking later on in the day. We've been promised a little bit of good weather, so hopefully that will come.
Yeah, hopefully it's going to dry out. It stopped raining at least, so hopefully it does dry out. I think that section there, as they come off the dirt, is going to stay slippy all day, though.
So here we come then. Mullaney comes across the line. What will his time be? We'll wait for our live timing to click over.
Alex has done a 1:36.47.
So Mullaney then, he sets the time. So Jay Smith out on track now. And we can pick up the Londoner. He's already up into the corkscrew. I think he's already been out on his warm-up lap, so this will be Jay's lap. He's already been out and warmed up, so he makes his way into the off-road section. A little bit tentative, but he was absolutely rock solid yesterday. Just didn't even make a mistake. Chris Hodgson just managed to find a way past at the death, and those guys will obviously take it to the wire again today. But precision is going to be the key in this off-road section, Danielle.
Yeah, I think using that right wrist as a bit of traction control is going to be really important today.
So you notice Jay then cutting tight, and he'll square off onto the start-finish straight, and he will take the checkered flag.
So he hasn't managed to improve on Alex's time. He's done a 1:36.746.
So Chris Hodgson, next rider out on track then. Should pick him up as he comes into the top of the corkscrew. In fact, we've got Ollie Pope out on circuit there, so that's I think that's Pope out on his sight lap. And we've got Hodgson showing on live timing, but we're actually looking at Ollie Pope. So here comes Ollie.
Ollie's done a lot of riding over in Europe, so I feel like these conditions will suit him quite a lot. So
this is Hodgie then on his flying lap. That was indeed Ollie Pope just on his what would be his out lap. So Hodgson taking a different line then to Smith. He runs a little bit wide. He's going to try and get the bike stood up and get onto the fat part of the tyre to get onto the start-finish straight. And he goes third. So Mulaney's still holding sway at the top. Our under-21 champion showing these old hands how to ride in what can only be described as mixed conditions.
Yeah, treacherous, I'd say. Chris does a 1:36.97, so provisionally third.
Right, Pope then already through the corkscrew. He's a very, very aggressive rider on the throttle and the clutch. From down south, spends a lot of his time riding in Europe, in the Belgium and the Dutch Championships, as well as occasional outings here in the UK. I raced with his dad for many years, motocross and supermoto, so he comes from a racing family. And Trevor Pope Motorcycles down there in the south of England, and KTM dealers for a long time. But Pope then looking pretty racy. He again chops really tight, look, finds where the grip is to get himself out of that corner, and he'll come across the line.
Oh, we've got a new fastest lap. So that was Oliver Pope doing a 1:33.655. So he's provisionally on pole.
So Pope goes to pole. That's a great effort. But here we have Storm Stacey, then British Superbike rider by profession. But he's here racing for fun on the actually out on the number 10. I think that's the bike of Paul Reynolds, his team boss. They've got one bike that's set up for wet and another bike that's set up for the dry. So Stacey opting to use the wet bike. And all arms and legs. But he's definitely sticking his neck out on this one. He was clearly fastest. Look at that, almost a dead stop to find the grip. And comes out onto the start-finish straight for the final time to take the checkered flag.
Second for Storm, so 1:34.73.
So Ollie Pope then takes pole position by just over a tenth of a second from Storm Stacey. Well, colour me surprised. No disrespect to Ollie Pope, but of those 5 riders, he was not the guy that I would expect to be sitting on top of the bunch. So he will start our race 1 this afternoon from pole position. Then from Storm Stacey, the 100 of Alex Mulaney, the number 4 of Jay Smith, rounding out the front row, and our 17-time British champion Chris Hodgson relegated to row 2. So I think we're going to have an interesting afternoon's racing.
Yeah. Storm's got to be showing off down there, doing some wheelies.
So Storm Stacey then wraps up our Superpole session. Ollie Pope will sit on pole on the number 29 Trevor Pope Racing KTM. And we will be back later on, just after midday, for our full coverage of round 2 of the Tripz.UK British Supermoto Championship.